Hello Year 6 and welcome to Wednesday's literacy lesson. So remember today we are carrying on with the same text, that's Frozen Escapes, the first text in this book. So remember we've started our new book, so it's the first text, Frozen Escapes, but today we are looking at the inference questions on pages 8 and 9. So inference questions, it's a really nice description at the top here, are designed to get the cogs whirring in your brain. So get those brains ticking over and really make you think. To answer them, you need to think about things that aren't as obvious in the text. So yesterday we did retrieval, where the answer was exactly in the text and you could just pull it out. But today you've got to do a little bit more thinking. So there'll be clues in the text, help you answer the question, but you might have to put some of the clues together yourself. Okay? So I'll have a quick whiz through the questions just to give you a couple of tips to help you. So the first one, again, always a top tip. This tells you to use a particular paragraph. So remember when you're answering the question that you use the paragraph the question has asked for. So this one does how does the paragraph suggest that the people who run ice hotels care about their guests. So in that paragraph, you're looking for some behaviours or some things that people do that show that they care about the guests in their hotel. Okay. The next one then, again, it tells you to a little section to read. So hotels come in all shapes and sizes to key to their popularity. Why might ice hotels seem impractical? So impractical means that they're not easy to maintain or easy to look after, or they're not always the best place to go. So have a think about why they seem, doesn't mean that they are, not the best kind of, the easiest hotel to run. Okay, so the next one, how do you think Joanna Burgess feels about ice hotels? So find where Joanna Burgess is talking and then how you think she feels. It says give a reason, so there's 2 marks. So how do you think she feels? And then back it up with some evidence. So I think she feels this about ice hotels because it says this in the text. Okay, so a lot of your inference questions, you need that key phrase because it says. So something then from the text to back up your opinion. Okay, so number 4 then, read the paragraph. So again, it tells you which paragraph to look at. And then it asks for evidence that only a small team of artists work on each ice hotel. Okay, so what does it say in the text? So you need some evidence that show that it's not a lot of people, it's only a small amount. Okay, next one's about Carrie Tollington. So find where it talks about her. Why does she enjoy staying in ice hotels? Now this specifically asks for one reason. So make sure you only give one. Don't give loads and loads of information. There's only one line. Only give one reason why she likes staying in the hotels. The next is, you've seen questions like this before, fact and opinion. Remember, a fact is something that no one can argue with. It absolutely is true. Okay, so I could say it's cold today. That's not a fact because it is cold, in my opinion. But someone might say, oh, I don't think it's that cold today. It could be argued. A fact, okay? So, for example, it is Wednesday. That's a fact. No one could say, well, actually, no, I think it's Tuesday or I think it's Sunday. That's a fact. So when you think to yourself, so the statement, Carrie Tollington is from Essex, find a bit about Carrie Tollington. Does it say she's from Essex? Okay, now, if it says she's from Essex, no one can argue. That's where she lives. Okay? If it said Carrie Tollington is nice, somebody could argue with that, couldn't they? So that would be an opinion. Okay, so think really carefully. They often try to trip you up on these, so think really carefully. Then number 7, why might a sauna or a hot tub be a welcome relief? So a welcome relief means people want it for someone staying in an ice hotel. So think about what saunas and hot tubs do. Why might somebody that's staying in an ice hotel think, oh, that's nice, it's a relief? And then number 8 is a 2-mark question. By the end of the article, how do you think the reporter feels about ice hotels? Refer to the text in your answer. So again, I'm going to say it again. You need to use that because it says. So I think the reporter likes ice hotels or doesn't like ice hotels, or is a bit in the middle. But the most important bit is why you think that. So it might be, I think they think ice hotels sound really exciting, and then go to the text and find something that shows that the reporter thinks they're exciting. You might say they think they're really boring, or you think they're too cold, but it doesn't matter what you say as long as you find some evidence to back your opinion up. Okay, so only 8 and 9 today. So just the inference questions today you are going to answer, still on frozen escapes. Okay, so that's your reading. I found the word power one quite interesting today. Now, this taught me something that I didn't know either, so I found it really quite interesting today. So it's following on from the dialects, and that was a big broad across the country that there can be different dialects. This one says your own language. So you might speak differently to your mum, your dad, your grandparents, whoever you live with, your teacher. You might speak differently to lots of different people, even those people that you live with. Okay, so that's because you have your own idiolect, it's called, and I didn't know that. The language that you personally use. So your dialect is how you speak based on where you live, but your idiolect is your very own unique language. Okay, so even though you speak the same dialect, it can still be different from friends and family. Okay, and it says here that it's like your fingerprint. No one else speaks exactly the same as you do. Okay? No one speaks exactly the same, so that's your own personal how you speak. So it gives an example here, and I know that lots of you, I think we all do this. So there's an example here. Well, she was like, I want like that t-shirt like. Lots of us use the word like a lot. Okay, but your friend might say that's great a lot. So there might be certain words or phrases that you notice that either you use or a friend or a family or a family member that you use quite a lot. So, and I bet you could all think of words and phrases that teachers say a lot as well. So think about the words and phrases of your own idiolect. Are there any words or phrases that you like saying? So a phrase that you say lots and lots of times. Okay, so there might be a few. So that's for that first bit there. Then think about someone else. So at the moment, it might be somebody, the easiest thing to do, it might be somebody that lives in your house. So I bet you could think of something that somebody in your house says a lot. And you might have a few either words that they say a lot or phrases that they say a lot that are unique to them. So some of the things that make up your idiolect can be determined by where you live, who you live with, or even by television programs you watch and books you read, and for lots of you, social media. So where do you think yours has come from? So do you think that's come from social media, apps that you go on, YouTube, games that you play? So where have you had some of the words and phrases that you like saying? Okay. So then there's an example here, and it gives you, so this person in the middle, Liam, has won the lottery, and it gives you two different reactions. One's back of the net, what are results? The other one says, that's put the icing on the cake for you. Okay, and it asks you what's different between how they've commented with the win. Okay. And then it can change over time. So think about what this, I think this one's a really nice one to do at the moment, because think about words and phrases you've learned this year. Now, I was only saying yesterday at home that there's lots of words that I didn't even know before this year because of what's gone on, you know, things like furlough or other pandemic or epidemic, or words that have come up this year in particular that I've never heard before, or I've heard but I didn't really know what they meant, so I looked them up. So this is quite a good year to fill this little box in, because there is definitely words that are new that that existed but we'd never used before. So you could think probably of lots of them there. There might be others that you've learnt through your games or TikTok or whatever you watch and do. But I thought that was a really interesting one for this year, because I know I've learnt lots of words this year and used lots of words that I've never used before. And then the last one then, how and why might your language change in the future? Okay, so how it might change in the future. So I think it's a really interesting page. I think I was really interested because it was something that I'd not heard of before. So I hope you enjoyed today's work. I'm looking forward to seeing and reading it all.